I asked you if you were here as a candidate.
No, you asked me if I was a candidate.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously, I know you're here representing Yeah. Well, is my information correct that you're a city councillor?
I am.
Well, your city council stands accused, right, alongside your counterparts in the county council, right? And this is quotes from Alexis J at the ICSA inquiry. 57 children's homes, 600 plus perpetrators, right? That,
No. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to the toilet.
well,
You can talk to me as part of the debate.
I've got questions to do during the debate. So, don't you want to talk about your council? You just like your selected leader and your chief executive, right? You think the science is justice. So, what you're saying by your science is it was okay to molest, abuse and rape children.
Can we stay for the meeting, please?
In Nottingham schools, and as you was explaining about education support, why is that?
Okay, well...
What about the standard of education?
Sorry?
What about the standard of education our children are getting?
Well, the standard of education in the city is pretty good, actually. 82% of children in Nottingham City attend a school that's rated with our outstanding by Ofsted. Our target, what we want, is to get to 100%. Whether we'll ever get there, I don't know. That's our ambition, that's our goal, and that's what we're moving towards together with academies, with council-maintained schools, with the universities. Everybody's working together to try to get to that. Now, there are historical reasons why our schools are funded at a higher rate than schools in some other areas. You have to remember, do you live in Nottingham?
I do.
Which area? In Clifton? Okay. So, in Nottingham, we've got pockets of deprivation, poverty and social issues. We're an urban, inner-city area.
Yes.
You know, we've got lots of issues.
It's not to particularly contradict anything Sam said, and thank you for nodding to the policies that we brought in. There is no monopoly on a good idea. We'll all occasionally have them. Obviously, I personally bias, and I think my party will have more of them, but that's beside the point. One of the problems we've got in this city is every single secondary school is now an academy. And a significant number of the primary schools are going academies because the secondary schools are swallowing them up into academy chains so that they can personally guarantee their numbers, their kids that are going into their academy, because numbers equals cash. And it's as simple as that. The more kids you've got, the more cash you get. And because of the increase of things like free schools, and smaller free schools in particular, the competition that's been coming in is teachers are losing their jobs. And or are staring down the barrel of 84 hours a week and no hope of a pay rise for the next 10 years. One of the reasons I went. Which is why we will increase and remove the 1% pay cap that's always brought in. We get rid of it, give teachers the pay rise they deserve, and nurses and police officers, and allow local authorities to build new local authority schools where appropriate.
Thank you. Jane, thank you, Brennan. Yes, thank you. Good and outstanding schools are happening now in Nottingham in academies and free schools. Not necessarily because they're academies and free schools, but because of what is happening, the mechanism that's happening making those academies and free schools. Because now the head, the parents and the teachers are in control. They've got responsibility, they've got control of their school. They know their own pupils and how to work with them and what's best for them, and that's what's really improving things. For years and years and years, the Labour Council had previously been in charge of education and it had gone downhill. And if you look at it, they had more money in Nottingham, more money. It's not the only city in the country, it's not the only place with deprivation in the country, and yet it was 150 out of 152. The £22 million that Councillor Webster is talking about is old hat, because they're going to put £4 billion extra in to make that top up and make that difference. And so it's £41 billion, which is record funding for schools anyway, and another £4 billion to create that top up. So that argument is completely dead. Pupil premium in Nottingham is £4.3 million a year and is remaining.
Because for years I've been sitting in my military bubble, working in downside longer than those many hours a week. And all I saw was Labour said this, Conservatives said the other. I saw, I would call it in military jargon, a urine exchange the other day between a Labour and a Tory supporter as to who cut milk, or who grew the national debt the most, or who cut more coal mines, or who cut the army the most. And Sam's absolutely right to talk about the deprivation here, but this hasn't happened overnight. It hasn't just come up and hit us in the face and go, oh, this is a current issue here. This is the index of deprivation of this city. It has been the index of deprivation, which is one of the lowest indexes of deprivation across the country of this city for decades. And both parties, there actually should be a plague on both their houses, because neither of them have actually tackled the deprivation in the city. They seem to have accepted the deprivation and used that as an excuse to get more money. And as I said to Lily in the past, stop banging on about money because it's not about money. Start talking about the performance of the schools. And until you get the performance out, until you start getting the performance increased, until you get jobs here that these kids can then aspire to, so that they can actually see the value of getting an education, because it will lead them on to a good job. Not a job which is just a 0-hour contract or a service provision in the local KFC or the local Lidl supermarket, but proper jobs which have got progression and promotion. Then we're not going to get anywhere. Start talking, not about how much, whether it costs 500 or 600. Start talking about the deprivation in Nottingham and how we're going to resolve that, because then we can actually start moving forward on all the other real issues.
Very briefly, please.
Well, yes, I think that there will probably end up being a crisis in education, similar to the crisis that we're currently seeing in the NHS, if we don't see urgent restoration of funding to the education system and reform of the academy system as well. I think all my policies that the Green Party do have kind of more or less already been brought up by other candidates, but we would invest £7 billion a year to make sure that funding formula makes sure that there are no schools that are left out by 2022. We would end the academy system, which, as Barry said, is basically privatisation of the education system, and make sure it makes, and we don't want a profit motive in our public services. That's generally a principle that I hope that we will agree with. What was the other thing? The way that we assess our schools needs to change, because if we're talking about performance of our schools, then the regulator, Ofsted, what the Green Party would do would abolish it, because basically there's unnecessary testing and regulation of the schools that, of teachers that needs to end, because they're under a lot of pressure. I know a lot of teachers and teaching assistants who are teaching at local schools, and they are sick of the job, not because they got into it in order to look after kids and teach kids and help them on with their lives. They didn't get into it because constantly filling out paperwork, Ofsted demand. So I've heard some ridiculous stories about how Ofsted sometimes demand teachers to take photographs of their lessons in progress to prove that they've actually carried them out. I mean, this kind of thing needs to end. We need to abolish Ofsted and replace it with a body that can actually carry out its job properly instead of this rigorous testing. And one on some... Oh, you want me to very brief? Okay.
You happy with that answer?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
My name's Mickey Summers. Many people in this room will know that I was at the hostings 2 years ago, and I addressed most of the candidates there about an issue of historical child abuse in Nottingham. It is without prejudice to you, Sam Webster, that I need to ask the question that is here to
excuse me, do you have...
Yes, I do.
No, I'm sorry, excuse me, I'm gentleman behind you. You're filming this, you have not asked permission.
Well, I consent
You
to
have to ask permission before
I consent to filming me.
Excuse me, these candidates haven't, nor has anybody else in the room. Does anybody object to the gentleman film?
I don't object.
Are you all happy for it to be filmed? Fine, that's okay. But
Okay, to molest, abuse and rape children.
excuse me, can we save this for the meeting, please? Please, in the future, can you answer?
Thank you very much. Well, taking it back 2 years ago, Mr. Webster, I asked all the candidates what they would do in terms of asking for a public inquiry, which your council actually relayed on. Now, notwithstanding that, myself and the group that I formed, that have actually brought what was the Goddard inquiry, now the J inquiry, to Nottingham over the historical child abuse. 2 years ago, the Sporting Children's Homes, Alexis J announced 57 council children's homes in Nottingham where children were molested, abused and raped. Now, I'm going to give you some facts that corporate directors, elected leaders and heads of social services, right, have actually done things to cover up and hide these facts, right, and so they've been exposed. Now, this is why the inquiry is conducted. So what I need to ask you, Mr. Officer, please let me get to the question.
When are you talking
Can we get to the point, please, of the question?
You asked me a question, but Alexis J identifies over 600 perpetrators, 57 children's homes, and over 350 child victims, all abused by the majority of them by council employees. Now, we've exposed that and we've brought the inquiry to Nottingham. So what I need to ask is, those that have hidden them, right, will it...
What era are you talking about?
We're talking 6 decades of historical child abuse. Children molested, abused and raped. You already know about it, because I exposed it to your council. But what I want to know is, will Lillian go to any length to bring the perpetrators who hid these criminals to justice? Like executives of both councils, both the city and the county, right, who are still getting hundreds of thousands of pounds a year for hiding paedophiles, including my rapist, who was he was actually the leader of social services for Nottingham, Alan Smith. He denied he existed. The CPS proved that he exists, yet Nottingham City remains silent. And my last piece to you, sir, is silence is not justice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's a question or...
What will Lillian do? Will she make sure that these criminals who have hidden these paedophiles for 6 decades are brought to justice?
As far as I'm aware, she will, she will and has worked on these issues and with you in the past. And I'm sure that if she, it depends whether she's a member of Parliament for Nottingham South, I suppose, in a few weeks' time. If she still is the member of Parliament for Nottingham South, then I am confident that she will, of course, continue to work with you and assist you in your inquiries.
And I think that, I would hope that would apply to any Member of Parliament. And I don't wish to seem rude or disrespectful. I can actually remember you from the last listings. I'm not sure that this is actually the right forum at this moment in time.
Well, maybe you could ask the representatives.
Well, maybe I could ask a question if you don't mind. You see, sir, I went to see Lillian Greenwood.
Are you speaking to me?
Yes, as my MP, as her constituent, because I was up to my eyes in child abuse as an inspector of the social services children's homes. And I went to Lillian 6 years ago and I took the file of evidence, and she didn't even stick her nose in the file, sir. She didn't even open it. And I asked Lillian Greenwood for her help on this matter, and I didn't get any help. And I want to make that very clear to everybody in this room. There was one person alone who helped me, and it was that gentleman there.
Before we go there, can I help Sam out here?
Can I answer or can I respond, or is it a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to let people know that, because I just, yeah. I
Is
just
it a
need to
question
know.
or a
No,
statement,
no,
or-
I just wanted to explain to
Can
you.
I just, you had a question at the back, is this related to the same issue?
Can I just say that I think I must, we need to clarify something though, that this lady's, making an allegation about Lillian's kind of involvement and stuff in stuff that she's taken to us. But, I can't speak in terms of those specific issues for Lillian. I'm not her, I'm here to represent her, so I don't know about those things. But, as far as I'm aware in terms of my dealings with Lillian, she is she works hard on cases, she works hard for residents of Clifton and Nottingham South. She does monthly surgeries in Clifton and more regular surgeries across the constituency. So I'm sorry if that's your experience.
It
That's
certainly
that's
is my
something,
experience,
that's something
yes.
you have to take up with Lillian directly.
If I can, I'd like to raise it because I think, Mickey, it is a kind of issue for Lillian directly between you and her, and you're in her constituency. And you know, and I know that much of this is now, part of the inquiry that's going to come here. But there is something more broader than that, which I have found in the campaign that I led here in Nottingham. And it speaks to something which actually is very troubling, and it goes back to something I mentioned earlier about an ideology. I hate ideologies. As a soldier, our ideologies on the left or the right are bloody dangerous. And they worry me. There is an ideology within the Labour Party which worries me. And we saw that ideology in Rotherham. And we saw that ideology.
I'm sorry, David, but that's not. This isn't
Can you
about.
Please!
Yeah, I think it is
I don't think
it
that's
is.
fair because we're talking about something over a very long period of time.
No,
Different parties.
I still remember 50 years on being raped.
Listen, I'm trying to raise
I think, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, I do not think that this is the forum for this conversation, as much as anything for your sake, sir, because I
No, I'm fine.
Indeed,
Yeah.
that's why I was trying to
Maybe
raise
you
it.
should have
Can we move on?
Yes, I think we need to move on, please. I think if you want to...
So what you're saying in essence really, right, it's okay to molest and abuse and rape children if the council wants it.
No, I'm not saying that, because I was actually... That happened to me when I was...
Stop. We're here to discuss our general election. Personal issues can be dealt with the MPs today.
I'm sorry, you're not the only person that has suffered at that.
And the point I was making, I was trying to raise it above the individual point, not to you, Mickey, and above Nottingham, because I know that Nottingham has got a special case. And just go to things which are in the public domain, Sam, before you give me a hard time on it. Rotherham, public domain. There was a failure of the Labour Council there to do anything about it for fear of causing offence. Rochdale, grooming gangs. Why we call them grooming gangs is beyond me, as though it's a bunch of hairdressers going on a day out in Blackpool. Rochdale, grooming gangs. Huddersfield, right now, grooming gangs. All common, behind all this, the common theme is Labour failing to tackle it. Now,
Sorry, that's it, I'm sorry. Can we please turn to this gentleman here? So next question from gentleman at the back.
Yes, you've got all different parties.
So, gentlemen, please. If you want this conversation, please have it out of this court.
Disgraceful lie.
Please, come on.
but I didn't get to ask them. And they were quite simple, really. As far as I'm concerned, every MP since 72 has betrayed the British people, because we were sold a common market and it's turned into this vast state of control. And the health system, the National Health System pays £28 per inhaler. I was over in Egypt 2 years ago and I bought one over the counter for £1. Now, the health system is just being run appallingly, because if there was any decent management, the buying power they got, they should be able to get them for a quid, just like they can in Egypt. And it's just...
I couldn't agree. One of the reasons I walked out, I was in a job that didn't need to be there, to chase numbers that didn't exist, on a spreadsheet that I didn't need to write, to argue over which GP was going to give which hospital money. It was fucking NHS. Which is why it's the only time I've literally ever gone, do you know what? No, I'm going to walk out. You're right. I couldn't agree more.
Would you got, because Webster forced to shut down, would you give your comments on camera what you just said?
On the... if anyone's been covered up, it should be taken to justice.
Well,
can we grab the lid there a minute?
yeah, cool, sure.
Yeah, give me 2 minutes.
You can if you want.
It's up to you, Mickey.
Well, we was in the hustings, right, and obviously Sam Webster, who represented Lillian Greenwood, he's basically got the council's interest, right, at heart. And so only today that it went out in the media, right, that another council paedophile has been charged. Now, we know what's going on. When I came in, there was 3 children's homes and was no preschool. At the last hustings, there was 14, right, and the numbers of survivors were something like around 60, right. Those numbers since our campaign are 350 plus. Now, Alexis J announced 57 children's homes, right. The Nottinghamshire Police under Rob Griffin on Operation Equinox has stated 600 perpetrators, and we know that most of them were council employees. Now, obviously, because Sam Webster represents the council, he doesn't want to take ownership of that. None of the executive bodies of either councils do, but Nottingham City, right, are by far the worst. At least Nottinghamshire County Council, right, made a public apology, right. Nottingham City Council, they think that by staying silent, right, that's some form of justice, right. My rapist was the regional director of social services. They denied they existed. Right. Paddy Tipping, the crime commissioner, who was a social worker, he identified him, right, as being the regional director. The CPS won't even charge him. He's 91 years old and still alive, and because he's a man of good character, right, he walks away. My only issue was, right, I'm a mental block on describing him, but show me photographs, and I've asked the police on numerous occasions, right, to give me an ID parade, either pass photographs or bring him to an identification parade. Right, they failed. The CPS have failed me, the police have failed me. I went to the police in 2003 and they failed me. The IPCC, they got involved, and beyond that, right, what happened with the 2003 case was they investigated a Nottingham police officer called Wasim Chowdhury, right, his supervising officer from that time, he was the one that investigated. And guess what? You know what happened? You know, this is a wholesale cover-up that's gone on, right? Not only with the councils, but with the police as well. People have gone to the police. I mean, your colleague who you're standing in for, he promised to stand with us last time, and I'm very much aware of the fact that he was seriously ill after a stroke. And your party actually sent me an email with an apology that he wasn't available. For that, I say thank you. But I would like to hear your views.
Well, clearly, I mean, if there's any cover-up, then it should be investigated. Anyone who's found guilty should be brought to justice without impunity, and the full weight of the law should be behind those people that commit such vile and disgusting acts. And that, why, it shouldn't even be a discussion, should it? Why are we even discussing it? This sort of thing has happened. We know it's happened. It should be investigated. People responsible should be brought to justice, and they should be locked up. And it's as simple as that. And anyone caught covering it up should be locked up. As appropriate under the law, obviously.
There is another issue, though, that I didn't get a chance to raise with Sam Webster. Right, that is the issue of Jeremy Corbyn. Jeremy Corbyn, their leader, is involved
A man has been charged with rape in the 1980s at a secure unit in Nottingham. Dean Gathercole, 52, of Westcliff Avenue, Radcliffe-on-Trent has been charged with 6 counts of indecent assault and 2 counts of rape. The attacks are alleged to have taken place in 1987 at Amberdale Observation and Assessment Centre, Stapleford. Officers from Operation Equinox, which is investigating historical sexual abuse in care homes, said the offences all related to the same victim. Mr. Gathercole is due to appear at Nottingham Magistrates Court on June 22, 2017.